What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Panthers advice today, man. We've got a lot to get into. All right, and not really a lot because it's a late upload, but we're going to talk about Canales in the press conference. And we're going to talk about why we're just doing that right now, okay? Because tomorrow it's the second day of the OTAs. We're going to throw all the stuff in there, right? You got the get speaking today. You got Bryce Young. You got footage of that Cali connection. Woo! It could be deadly. All right, it could be deadly. There's a lot that happened today. All right. So I'm gonna wait for all of it tomorrow to come out and then post a video tomorrow night on everything that's happened in the last 2 days. Footage, meetings, everything. All right. Probably gonna be my biggest video yet. But remember what I said in my last video. If you don't get a chance to watch the whole video, it's okay because I'm going to then, as the week goes on, kind of break it up segment by segment by segment and kind of post those videos individually. So stay tuned for that. But the reason I'm doing a late upload tonight with just Canales, okay, is because I felt like this was the best Panthers media conference they've had in quite some time. Like every question that was asked made sense. It's like they were following the team, right? And I was like, because usually I'll chop it up. Like some of these questions, I'm like, I don't really want to just lead you guys on, right? It doesn't make any sense for me to just kind of listen and there's nothing there to analyze. But every question, I think, what is it? 9 minutes long, and I cut it short. Every question, I was like, damn, that's a good. Well, that's the good question. And I ended up watching the whole thing, going through the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, we got to do this today. Otherwise, the video tomorrow is going to be super long. So, Canales today, or at least from what he did today, and the rest, man, it's going to be a long video tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. But let's see what Canales said about Shaw Smith, Wade, Trevin Wallace, Bright. I mean, like I said, there's a lot. Let's get into it.
To this time last year when it must have seemed at least a little bit overwhelming, and how different it is this year, sort of having everything in place and sort of knowing exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything from the flow of practice, when to blow the horns, and everybody going over to set the second drill and sprinting over there to get set, and just all the little things that just feel a lot more in place now. And then of course you talk about the X's and O's, the playbook stuff, and just breaking the huddle the right way, and shifts and motions and wording and all the things that come with it. It feels like we can just focus on working and practicing versus the format and structure of it.
Well, can we talk about that real quick? Right. So let's talk about this. One, Canales received a little bit of criticism, right, early on, and I think part of that was because he was kind of, hey, we're gonna play Bryce Young. Oh, just kidding, we're gonna bench him, right? The other thing to think about is this: first year head coach, he brings in his guy as the OC. There was a lot of new faces in the building, and he talks about this: the shifts, the motions, who's supposed to line up where. We're gonna touch more on this later on in the video. But a new offense. Essentially, I'm going to call Bryce a rookie quarterback because he played under Frank Reich, but only 8 games. Then Chris Tabor or Thomas Brown, and then Chris. Like Bryce Young, I don't know that he ever grew at all his rookie year. If anything, arguably, it's like he was in the minors. So it's like he never, if we're being honest, it's like he never had his rookie year. I felt like last year was his rookie year where he made mistakes, he got benched as well as he should have, and then bang, he came back in and did his thing. And I think year two, you would think there would be improvement for sure, right? Because now Bryce knows the lingo, and Dave's going to touch on this in a little bit too. He knows the lingo. He knows where guys are supposed to line up. Legette's back. Adam Thielen's back. Adam Thielen can help out everybody. And if you think about it from Adam Thielen's perspective, this could be his best year. And why is that? First year here, he's the veteran. He's supposed to help out the other guys. Well, Mingo just never got to him. DJ LaVisca always hurt. And then who do you have after that? There was nobody. Then you go back to last year. Deontay Johnson, bang, gone by what? Week 7, week 8, right around there. Mingo once again. Same thing as Deontay Johnson. Like, the only person he can help was Coker. And Coker obviously did his thing. Now you potentially bring more receivers. One, who I think fit the offense, but two, can learn from Adam Thielen, right? So, to me, the offense, it would have to improve, which is scary considering how good they did at the end of last year. Let's keep it going, though.
Jalen Coker worked off to the side. Derek worked off to the side. Taylor, are those all injury related?
Yeah, they are. And so, Coker, just getting him as strong and fast as possible before we throw him out there in a competitive setting. Just some soft tissue things that he's been working through, and he's crushing it right now. He's had a good, I think, week and a half of really, he's got the volume there. But we want to make sure and just playing it on the safe side right now before we put him out there. Derek, of course, just working back in to things after the knee, and he's feeling great though, and he's feeling more and more confident with the change of direction, body on body, getting some weight bearing type of things that way. So they're all progressing, they're all getting after it. No setbacks right now. Guys are just taking leaps every day. So
if I could follow up,
yeah,
DJ Wanham wasn't out
yeah,
there, neither was Tommy. I know
yes,
OTAs are voluntary. What's the
yeah. So
I'm not gonna lie, hearing DJ Wanham on there, it scares me a little bit, right? Derek Brown, I get. Coker, that's fine, but DJ Wanham again, because I felt like the Panthers got him this time last year with free agency, right? Now again, it's only what? It's May. Season doesn't start for another 3 to 4 months, but I'm not gonna lie, it scares me a little bit.
DJ, just his back kind of flared up on him, so we're just trying to get that thing calmed down because you don't want it to kind of snowball into other areas with that. Tommy did have surgery on his back last week, a successful surgery that was, we were kind of thinking about it, talking about it, looking at timelines and all that, and just felt like for him to give him he's 25 years old. Let's get this thing while he's young and strong and be able to, just get.
So essentially, Tommy has surgery, which is why they drafted Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame, right? Same thing with ETN, right? They drafted Trevor because Brooks has surgery. So I kind of like what they did, to be honest, in the draft. Kind of drafted two guys who have potential to kind of do what their starter or the person in front of them had the potential to do as well.
Back on the right track. So we just decided to do that now, looking forward. No, he will not be. So we fully expect Tommy to be ready for training camp and all that.
What's your level of confidence in what Bryce can be now compared to what it was when you came in last year and didn't really know him?
Felt like Dave last year, he was sure on Bryce Young, to be honest with you. But I think Bryce Young definitely won him over. But I'll let you guys listen to what Dave says.
Honestly, my expectations are just wide open. I think especially as he goes in there with command like he's been doing this offseason and really just leading the guys.
Now, with that being said, Dave makes a good point, right? He said with Bryce going in there with command, leading the guys. And that was one thing everybody agreed on, whether you like Bryce or I'm not going to say you hated Bryce. There's no reason to ever hate Bryce Young, right? Whether you didn't like him or not, you didn't see him command the offense. You didn't see him take charge. And when he got benched and he came back, it was a whole different Bryce Young. Because I remember, what was it, week 1? Week 2, where he threw that pick, and I'm like, ooh, that's not going to sit well, right? And why is it not going to sit well? I think it was against the Chargers. He's kind of laughing with Chew on the sideline. I'm like, oh, Bryce. And I get it. He's trying to shake it off, have fun. But people are like, dude, you struggled your rookie year. Your first start this year was terrible. If it was against the Chargers, right? And I think it was. Now your second game, you're laughing after a pick. But like Dave said, we saw a different Bryce Young after he got benched. Definitely more command, taking control of the offense. Let's keep it going.
When there were some great plays out there, some great timing throws, but also just the level of comfort, like we talked about with the offense, knowing the words, making different tweaks, and he's a part of that process. These are conversations that we've been having with him, going back to the end of last season, that we want to implement and just be able to, like, especially in the.
Let me pause it right here real quick because he goes back to different vocabulary he uses in the offense, right? And what's interesting about that is Bryce first learned from Frank Reich, right? Very old school offense, I'm assuming, as far as vocabulary and lingo. And then Thomas Brown comes in. Thomas Brown was from McVay's tree, right? And that's a more of a new school offense. So now the lingo switches again. And now he's learning under Dave Canales. So I think in some aspect you got to give Bryce Young a pass to a point, just because it's a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new receivers. It's a whole different offense every single time.
Pass game, become Bryce Young offense, become, this collective thing and getting the chemistry going. So I feel really confident about just what I saw today, especially going against the defense and just the speed that we were playing with.
Dave, along those lines, how much more stuff have you put into the offense last year that's new this year?
Subtle changes. I think we have a great foundation of things that was the first year, was to get the core established, to get the words and all those things in place, and then just some adjustments based on our skill. The skill position players, the runners, the receivers, JT, and then just kind of becoming us and honing in on some of the things we saw in the South Scout of like these are concepts we feel really confident with, that we run really well. We have the adjustments off of it. So now it's about just adding little tools, things that Bryce can do at the line of scrimmage, things that he can tweak and change based on what the defense is doing.
That's huge right there because I don't know that Bryce had the ability to do that last year, right? Because I definitely don't think he could do that week 1 and week 2. And then when he got benched, when he came back, I still don't think he was doing it then. But the other thing Bryce had to work on was not coming to the line with 5 seconds left for a lot of reasons. One, you see the defense in a cover 2, cover 3 look, or you see them in disguised coverage because you watch the film. There's no time to change anything to tell Adam Thielen do this, and if you do that, now Bingham's got to switch his thing, and so on and so forth, right? So this year, it sounds like Davis, he's taking kind of the reins off of Bryce Young and letting him kind of run wild a little bit.
Have you made any headway on either the Texans or Steelers joint practices?
Texans, we're going to go down to Houston and practice with them for a day leading into that game. That'll be a great one. You know, it's warm here. It's really warm in Houston. And so that, you know, I've heard, you know, I was in Tampa for a year, but I've also heard Houston just, you know, gives you that good work, and the humidity and the heat will be great, especially opening up at Jacksonville, you know, so it'll be a great opportunity for us to get on the road. I like these moments too, because you travel a little earlier to have a joint practice. So there's just more time at the hotel for the players to connect, the coaches to connect and all that. So it's kind of a team building thing, as well as just, it's a good change up, you know, with the Browns coming in here. And then for us to go down there, we go against each other every day. It's great. It just kind of, you know, brings fresh life into the competitive environment. You know, so I love these joint practices. We'll take advantage of that, and not with the Steelers though.
Sorry.
Let's pause that real quick. Now the Texans is gonna be interesting. One, just for the Bryce Young, CJ Stroud clips, you know those are gonna surface everywhere, right? Getting blown way out of proportion, right? Then on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, they still got Nico Collins. They still got Tank Dell too, right? Plus, who did the Texans draft? Not Jalen Smith, my fault. I mean, they did, but that's not really important right now. Jalen Noel, right, out of Iowa State. We talked about him quite a bit on this channel. I think a lot of other channels too as well did. And who else did they draft? Let's see right here. They drafted Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State as well. So 6'4", 447, Jaden Higgins, and then Jalen Noel. I mean, the dude's a beast too, right? 4'3", 940. The Panthers DBs are going to be tested in that spring game potentially. Now, I don't know how serious they're going to take 7-on-7, potentially 11-on-11, but we're going to find out pretty quick between Tank, Jaden, Jalen, Nico as a route runner. We're going to be tested. Who's that fourth corner going to be, right? Because the Texans don't take 4 receivers without going in a 4 receiver package.
How did you see T-Mac, you know, transition from rookie minicamp and take what he learned there to OTAs so far?
Yeah, it's just all about being comfortable. You know, it's about getting him out of this place where he's got to think a lot about what he's doing and all that. And we're still there, you know, but he's working hard, and he had a great day today. You know, he got to meet Mike Jack and JC Horn today, and he won some, lost some. That's good, you know, and that's how we become us. We make us better by bringing our best every day. And so
that's footage I want to see, right? And I don't think I saw it on Twitter. I don't think anyone has posted it yet, but I want to see McMillan against Horn, McMillan against Mike J. That's what I want to see. That's the footage right there. And it goes back to what I said in my last video, right, with Adam Thielen. If you haven't already, go check that video out. But like JC Horn last year, you had Coker to a point. Who else was he going to make better on that team? Right? Now you got McMillan. Now you got Horn. I'm telling you, the iron sharpens iron is real. And Adam Thielen said it best. There was no competition up until last year. Right? Adam Thielen said it, not me.
it was really good to see him out there competing.
So your expectations for the inside linebacker room and Trevin Wallace, how's he look coming back from rehab, and will he step into a starter's role?
We'll see. All this stuff is wide open, you know, so I won't make a comment about.
So that was interesting right there because Dave basically said that the inside linebacker room competition, hey, whoever is the best man is going to take the starting job. That's Josie Jewell, that's Roseboom, that's Claude, that's Trevin Wallace. I like that personally. I like the inside linebacker. We're going to have to make somebody earn it, right? Because I feel like that's been a weak point. We're going to see who steps up.
Xavier makes some plays today, a couple crossing routes specifically. What do you think that the arrival of T-Mac will mean for Xavier's season and development?
Before Dave answers this, I want to touch on this real quick. This is exactly what I've said all off season long. I wasn't the biggest fan of drafting McMillan, which I've said 1,000 times. Probably should stop saying it, right? But McMillan actually covers up Leggette's weakness. And what I mean by that, right, is you're as strong as your weakest link, right? And if you have Leggett trying to catch those hitches and those outs, not saying he won't have to down the road, but right now, you got Horn, you got McMillan to do that. Let Leggett fly across the middle. I'm not saying a go route. I'm saying the crosser, the drags, maybe a dig route. That's his strong suit. So if you can get everyone else to do what he's weak at, so you're kind of hiding his weakness and let him just do what he's strong, you're opening up Leggett to remember, Leggett might be the fastest guy on the team. And if you got him running crossers and if you don't believe me, just watch, right?
Well, for Xavier, what I see is a year into the system, just the speed that he's playing with now, with the level of comfort he has with what we're doing. When I see him smiling, I know he's in a good space, and he really has just been enjoying this off season, working hard. He looks big and fast, and I think with T-Mac coming into the room again, it's just options. It opens things up, and it creates a little bit of balance. Where the field doesn't tilt one way or the other. So you have two guys who can make it happen outside, and that's a good thing.
What do you look for to see if a guy has stopped thinking, has stopped?
One thing I want to touch on real quick before they continue. We also got to remember this with Leggett, right? As I look at his stats, okay, freshman season, 80 yards, then 113, then 63, then 167, then 1,255 yards. But that wasn't games. That was yards. Let me say that again. 80, 113, 63, 167, then 1,255. Now, yes, game started was 3-6-4-7, but you see it took a little bit. He could be one of those guys where it takes a little bit for things to click for him. But once they click, it's over.
Sean Smith-White making a lot of plays today. What have you seen from him growing from?
Boy, did you see his smile? I haven't seen Dave smile like that since he first got here. Hang on.
Game, you can grow your concepts when guys own the basics of it.
Sean Smith-White making a lot of plays today.
Woo, woo, woo. Man,
What have you seen from him growing from year one to year?
that's like you hit that 10-team parlay. Like, woo.
Yeah, this is really cool because from the first time we got Shaw out here, and this is for speaking about Damani Richardson as well. These are guys from rookie minicamp for an entire year that have been so conscientious about their preparation, their body readiness, all these things. They're the first guys on the field. They're rolling things out. They're kind of working on their technique, getting their body ready. They're the last guys off the field, catching jugs. Hey, give me that release one more time. And all of that hard work is paying off for Shaw because he's finding himself in the right positions, the right situations. When the huddle breaks, he's talking, and he's just really into it. He loves football. Those are the kind of guys that we love bringing in here.
What's it been like to be around Hunter Renfrow so far, and just what's your quick assessment of physically where he is coming back right now?
Yeah, I would say like weekly, because of the muscle memory of a guy who's been a really good player. You see weekly, he just makes these huge strides, just getting his feet under him. And I can tell too, just having coached wide receivers, especially, but he's got a lot in his game. Releases, top of the route setup, avoidance, different things where he can double up stuff at the top of his routes. And you can see him kind of working through his.
Dave has never talked about a receiver like that. Hunter, based on what Dave said, he may make the team. The things he could teach T-Mac, the things he could teach Horn, if they're willing to learn. If they're willing to learn. But you see everything that Dave just said. I mean, Dave is going back to basically being almost like a draft scout talking about why you should draft this receiver right here. He's never talked about a receiver like he did Renfrow right here. And that just shows you how special Renfrow is, man.
Kind of his tool bag, if you will. And it's been really cool to just watch him, as his feet get underneath him and the explosiveness and all the little things show up. It's been really fun to see.
The Panthers media killed it. All right, let's call it what it is. hats off to them, man. They did a great job. Dave answered a lot of questions. I'm happy with where we are, right? So let me know your thoughts on that. We have a big video coming out tomorrow. Bryce Young, Leggett footage. I'm assuming more meetings coming out tomorrow too, so stay tuned for that. And like I said, the segments will be released all week long. I'll catch you guys then. Take it easy. Panthers Vices out. Peace.